First, the symbolic elements of fate and their significance to channel such as the double C logo, the number 5, the mysterious meanings behind them, as well as Chanel's obsession with black and love for white. Second, Chanel and her lovers. In this book, we see how Chanel navigated relationships with her lovers, including how she maintained lifelong friendships, despite experiencing infidelity and betrayal. Also, how she gained support and protection from different lovers. How did she draw inspiration from them? Third, the influence of Chanel and her work on modern French fashion, aesthetics, and cultural symbols. This also explains why the American elite today so admire Paris and cherish the French language. Next, I'll discuss these topics in the order I just mentioned. Throughout this, I'll incorporate different versions of Chanel's stories that I've learned. Let's develop a more balanced and fair understanding of Chanel from a human perspective. If Chanel's legendary life were a mysterious labyrinth, it would surely be adorned with fateful symbols that guided her to create today's legacy. At least, this is how Chanel presented her story to the world. These enigmatic tales form the most mysterious fragments in Madame Picardy's biography. For example, the book describes multiple origin stories about Chanel's iconic double C logo. Madame Picardy visited Aubazine Abbey during a cold winter where Chanel spent her childhood no home to dwindling numbers of nuns living in silence. The church's stained glass windows featured no figurative art, but their geometric patterns of interlocking arcs and circles bore striking resemblance to Chanel's double C logo. The abbey's second floor had a long corridor paved with intricate mosaic patterns. Thousands of pebbles formed constellations, countless stars and a moon, a bishop's mitre and Maltese cross, 8-petaled flowers, and even more mysterious symbols. The circular rings and squares, composed of circles and triangular meanings, remain undeciphered by the current residents of the abbey. They believe it represents the mystery of the Holy Trinity. These interlaced corridor patterns also appear in many of Chanel's designs. Here, the sleeve lines and beadwork on Chanel gowns, along with recurring heart motifs in her diamond jewelry, all seem influenced by the abbey's mosaics. There's another origin story about Chanel's iconic double C logo. This version connects closely with Boy Capel, lover Chanel, cherished most throughout her life. Though Capel had numerous lovers and broke his marriage promise to Chanel by wedding a British aristocrat for social status, it was with Capel's financial support that Chanel expanded her fashion empire. Chanel depended on Capel so deeply. He represented father, brother, and family, yet his presence remained intermittent. Only through work could Chanel regain true independence, security surpassing what Capel provided. Though bound by neither contract nor marriage certificate, the Chanel brand became their eternal union, as hinted by the interlocking fees. The C's of Chanel and Camelback toeback yet inseparably intertwined. Capel's death in a car accident left Chanel devastated. Yet a mysterious event occurred during that period. 6 months after Capel's death, Chanel received an unknown Indian gentleman. The gentleman claimed someone he knew lived in bliss, free from earthly troubles, and bore a message Chanel would understand completely. Chanel never revealed the message's content. But this encounter convinced her. Capel still watched over her, lifting her from grief's depths. Regardless of the message's specifics, their connection persisted through this mystical bond. This story adds another layer of mystery and romance to the true meaning behind Chanel's double C logo. The number 5 also seems fatefully intertwined with Chanel's legacy. Here we must first mention Chanel No. Phoebe brand's global bestseller that transformed into a commercial legend through dizzying growth. The true origin differs from Chanel's official narrative. Number 5 was actually created by Ernest Bose, a Russian chemist and former perfumer to the Tsar. When presented with samples from Grasse Laboratories, Chanel chose the 5th vial. She declared, "My fashion show opens on May the 5th month. Let's name it number 5. Indeed, the number 5 consistently brought her fortune. The iconic 2.55 quilted handbag debuted in 1955, another numerical milestone in Chanel's legacy. Numerical branding became another legendary element of Chanel's mystique. That irresistible allure suggests these creations will endure as eternal classics. Though Chanel never married, her numerous lovers became life's whetstones. At Etienne Balson's Château de Rieuleux, Chanel shed her convent school past completely. She devoured romantic novels, La Dame aux Camélias, and Wuthering Heights became favorites. Meanwhile, she studied the social maneuvers of demi-mondaines as a keen observer. With her beloved boy Capel's financial backing, Chanel transitioned from milliner to couturier. Her talent blossomed fully, cementing her commitment to fashion. Within a year, Chanel achieved financial independence from Capel, a triumph of self-reliance that thrilled her. Beyond being a playboy and industrial magnate, Capel's most surprising aspect was his theosophist beliefs in posthumous existence. This explains Chanel's belief in eternal preservation. Even a seed cannot be truly lost. Perhaps this mirrored her mystical encounter post-Capel's death, convincing Chanel of her own indestructibility. After Capel's fatal accident, Chanel met French poet Pierre Reverdy, both Paris outsiders captivated by aristocratic decadence. Yet the poet advocated ascetic creativity through deprivation. He insisted, "Artists must maintain absolute clarity to capture fleeting truths." This philosophy resonated deeply with Chanel. Chanel famously declared, "Fashion isn't merely in dresses, it's in the very air we breathe." She captured ephemeral inspirations mid-flight, transforming them into enduring wealth. With Reverdy's editing, Chanel crystallized her aphorisms. Even without wings, never let that stop your flight. Luxury becomes necessity after life's essentials are met. Through Reverdy, Chanel refined her intellectual rigor, mirrored in her couture precision. The poet's financial independence, despite her support, earned Chanel's profound respect. But perpetual poverty ultimately severed their romantic ties. After converting to Catholicism, Reverdy retreated to a monastery until death. Long after their romance, Chanel continued admiring the poet's integrity. To this day, Chanel's personal library preserves his treasured volumes. Reverdy's leather-bound poetry collections show weathered covers. Among Chanel's lovers, this obscure French poet remains most compelling to me. Chanel never ceased pursuing love and craving romantic passion. As in the romantic novels she adored, Chanel's life intertwined with Russian exiled Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich and perfumer Ernest Bose, who brought her fortune through Number 5. The former kindled a passionate romance with her, while involved with Dmitry Chanel, maintained other liaisons. Her Russian circle included writers and ballets russes impresarios. Chanel generously funded their towns while strategically converting these connections into business advantages. Her decadent affair with Westminster, Britain's wealthiest duke, elevated her from demi-mondaine to aristocracy's inner circle. Aboard his yacht, Flying Cloud, Chanel befriended Churchill and cemented her British elite connections. Today, Chanel's double C logo still grace Mayfair streets, Westminster's lasting tribute. However, her WWI-era affair with German officer Hans Ether von Dinklage tarnished her legacy. Wartime perfume sales to occupied territories and Nazi connections became lasting stains. Critics allege her German liaison was strategic collaboration. Remarkably, Chanel maintained the relationship post-war, meeting von Dinklage in Switzerland. Perhaps Chanel saw no need for changes. She simply craved love. She later quipped, "At my age, if a man wants to love me, I don't check his passport." The biography extensively details Chanel's complex romancesque never married. Her claimed indifference to marriage perhaps masked deeper vulgarities. With Boy Capel, she likely harbored genuine hopes for marital fulfillment. But she soon realized marriage remained an unfulfilled promise. Thus Chanel found security in work, using independence as armor. She learned to endure lovers' betrayals while maintaining affection. Loving meant bearing others' hardtack shrew for both Capel and Westminster. Yet how could her heart remain untouched by loss and bitterness? Chanel maintained the resolute charm of a literary heroine. Facing Westminster's wandering affections, she displayed thorny resilience. Only when the newlywed Duke visited Paris did her tears finally fall. Perhaps Chanel understood her social standing and aristocratic choices. She knew Capel loved her, yet hid their relationship for social advantage. Her claim of rejecting Westminster's proposal became another romantic fiction. Accepting the mistress role enabled lifelong friendships with former lovers. These men became Chanel's most steadfast allies despite romantic failures. Though never married, they achieved mutual empowerment through goodwill. The book's black frontispiece quotes Chanel, "I adore." Blackett asserts absolute authority. This declaration mirrors Chanel's craving for liberation through design. Her designs freed women from societal constraints to embrace authentic selves. The quintessential French wardrobe, stable. Little Black Dress embodies this legacy. The LBD's origin traces to Chanel's own embarrassing opera night mishap. While dressing for Paris Opera, Chanel accidentally activated a gas jet. The gas jet exploded, singeing her hair. In panic, Chanel grabbed scissors, chopping off her braid, leaving cropped hair and soot-stained white dress. She changed into a black dress with overlapping waist panels and spire-like ornament. Her cropped hair and LBD made her the opera's singular spectacle eyes captivated. Thus, black transformed from mourning hue to sophisticated reverence. In 1926, American Vogue featured Chanel's Designea sleek black sheath dress. Chinese silk sleeves paired with pearl necklaces became new feminist uniform. Chanel believed black symbolized empowerment and liberation. French career women adopted Eves for their elegant practicality. This sartorial secret remains quintessentially Parisian today. Beyond Alpes, French Riviera Resort, where embodies Chanel's aesthetic. The Côte d'Azur attracted bohemian elitists 1920s. American literati flocked there. Wealthy Americans hosted avant-garde gatherings with Picasso and Hemingway. Jazzage intellectuals forged lost generation philosophy through art and revelry. Chanel revolutionized resort fashion through ballet russe, the train bleu costumes, beach running costumes, billowing shirts against azure skies made sportswear chic. Sailor tops and espadrilles still echo Chanel's Riviera inspirations. Chanel distilled coastal nonchalance into timeless elegance. Navy knits and crimson jackets became signature Chanel seaside style. Closing the book feels like witnessing fate's paradox, granting Chanel adoration and anguish, strength through loss. In her unfinished autobiography, conflicting narratives reveal her inner turmoil. Ultimately, she realized true advancement comes only through self-reliance. Chanel once declared, "Fashion reflects the soul me designs mirror my psyche." Her effortless elegance belied meticulous planning and iron will. Through fashion and enterprise, she achieved liberation from patriarchal dominantessa, ultimate value she bestowed on women's style. This is Sally. Until next time. That concludes our exploration. Find keynotes below the audio. Reconnect tomorrow.